The following is a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
Remember a simpler time when it was okay to be weird, have fun, and think for yourself?
Well, those days are over. The art of conversation itself is dead. Sacrificed on the altar of divide and conquer and disguised as political correctness and spared feelings. I believe that unity can only come from truth, and that the only way to find truth is by exploring and embracing our valuable differences and having civil, open-minded, and uncomfortable discourse. Conspiracies, politics, religion, and all the taboo topics your family just praise you don't bring up around the Thanksgiving dinner table. We are here to literally change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. So if you're easily offended, put your big girl panties on and buckle up, Buttercup, because you chose to be here. I'm Dan Smots, you are the power, and this is The System is Down.
Going live. 5, 4, 3, 2. And as we wait for people to come in, I will go ahead and start sharing this link out with everybody, and I will give my rambles at the beginning. But welcome to The System is Down, episode 200. We are here with David Weiss today, and we're going to talk to him about the topic that's going to make a bunch of people stop listening to the show very quickly. It is, of course, Flat Earth. To those of you who have been here since the beginning of the show, you know that we used to talk about this type of thing a lot more often. Some of you just came in because of my work on the Libertarian presidential ticket, but and so you're here for the politics, and you're probably going to get triggered and all pissed off that we would even give this man the time of day. But that's what this show is all about. We're here to have the uncomfortable conversations and discuss the undiscussable, like Flat Earth. And before we get into that, I got to remind you guys about our sponsors as I try and find this stupid link on Facebook. Our sponsors are as follows. You guys in the Downers Club, the people that contribute to the show every single week. You guys are what makes the show look bigger and better, more beautiful every week, except for when David Weiss comes in and makes me switch back to Zoom, and then I can't make it look pretty anymore. But,
Sorry,
it is what it is. It is what it is. And, David, that link is in the chat now if you want to go ahead and share that.
Yeah, I found it. I'm already on it. You have to join. You're going to be a member to watch it, though. You got to join.
Oh, do you?
I think so.
You shouldn't have to be. It should be on my public page.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, share this out, everybody, if you are watching this right now, and let's have some fun 200 episode celebration here. You guys in the Downers Club, you guys' questions are going to be answered first because you guys are you're the producers of the show. You tell me what you want to hear, and I make it happen for you. If you're not already a member of the Downers Club, you can go join and get bonus episodes every single week at patreon.com/The System is Down. And we're also doing a promo right now for Christmas, where anybody who signs up at the $1 level or higher, I will literally draw you a picture, a one-of-a-kind, unique picture, and send it to you in the mail. Now, that might not sound interesting or exciting. If so, don't join. But if it does, then join and support the show. We also have the sponsor, Brave Botanicals. Brave Botanicals is who makes this kratom that I'm drinking right now. David, you ever tried kratom? What are your thoughts?
I have not, and I've wanted to. Tell me about it.
It's pretty good. It gives me a nice glowy energy. It's a little bit cleaner burning fuel than caffeine, I believe. And it's kind of a smoother transition into and out of your energy and makes me a little sharper, I feel. And you can try it, David, right now at freeounceofkratom.com.
I will. You know what? You just sparked my interest. I'm in. I'm going to order some right after the show.
Yep, go to freeounceofkratom.com and enter the promo code TSID, and you'll get 5% off your entire order, whatever else you add to it. But you can get the kratom for absolutely free. Just enter that promo code to let them know that we are the ones who sent you. TSID is promo code. Not My Brave Botanicals. Free Ounce of Kratom is the website. And we also have one more sponsor, and that's going to be it. The last sponsor is End the Two-Party System. You can check them out at endthetwopartysystem.org. They are a 501c4 not-for-profit that is just looking to introduce ranked choice voting to people and push to end the two-party system. And who can't disagree with that? So
I think they've already achieved their goal. I think the two-party system is completely destroyed, and I don't think it's ever coming back.
Yes. And, there was a part of me that thought, with all these newcomers coming in and they're probably already a little bit triggered at the idea of flat Earth. We should just come in and talk about everything other than flat Earth for an hour, and then do the rest behind the paywall just to piss them off. But
hang on. So
I'm not really going to.
so the people that are ready to tune out, that have already tuned out, sorry, you're gone. I was you 6 years ago.
Yes.
I had a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and people started sending me flat Earth stuff. Hey, have you looked into flat Earth? Check out this 1 minute video. I would not watch the 1 minute video. I banned them from our social media for being so stupid as to suggest to waste my time.
Yeah.
It was really starting to annoy the crap out of me.
You can cuss, it's fine.
banning people, thank you. And then finally another researcher, Sophia Smallstorm, made me look. She goes, Dave, you have to look at this. And I took 2 weeks to debunk it. I went to Prove the Globe. And since then, I've quit my own business. I left my own company. I do this full time. And I'm on a mission to show those wanting to see what's behind door number 2.
So you're making those big flat Earth bucks, right?
Yeah, huge flat Earth bucks. People say I'm in it for the money. I do have an app that I sell, but the app is how you learn about flat Earth. I get thousands of emails of people saying, your app has shown me, you know, I couldn't have done it without you. So, but I walked away from, there it is. Is that
Downloaded it today.
Oh, you have your own background, custom
I
background.
do. I already customized mine and everything.
Look at you.
While taking a crap this afternoon.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that later, but I'm only going to talk about it because it helps you see flat Earth. Hang in there. And I have an incentive for those people. I have $1,000 if somebody can supply a proof of the globe. $1,000. I'll make it 10,000, but nobody believes that I'll pay 10,000.
Right.
So we'll call it 1,000. But if you want 10,000, you can have that too.
Right.
One proof of the globe. That's all I need.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably have to do a follow-up then. I'm probably not going to be able to monitor the chat quite as easily on this live stream, but we're going to take the questions that were pre-submitted, and we'll see if I can keep up with things other than that. But yeah, absolutely. And I have had plenty of people come on and rant about, you know, why flat Earth is stupid and everything, but I'm not the person. I've actually gone on, this is probably news to some. I've actually gone on 2 other podcasts in defense as the guy defending the flat Earth, because in my own dig a few years back, it was like, you know, I can't say definitively, and this is basically where I stand now. I can't say definitively that it is or isn't, but I do know that things in what the official story are do not add up. And that's the only thing that I can confirm. And
that's all you need to have. If you know there's a problem with the globe, that's it. Now you're on your way to seeing. There's so many people waking up to the globe lie, or we'll call it the true Earth, because flat Earth, like conspiracy theory, are weaponized terms. All right. Sure. So the true Earth is unknown, but it is observably, measurably flat and stationary. But how it exists, there's a lot of unknowns. But there's, you know, the globe has more unknowns and more impossibilities. So, you know, flat earthers have different beliefs. Some of them believe there's an endless plane, that there's a dome over a dome over a dome, like Russian dolls, different layers, right? All sorts of stuff. But we all agree that the spinning, wobbling pair rocket water ball in a vacuum of space is nonsense.
Okay. So we got to back up a little bit. We've got to lay some groundwork. Let's go back to before you lost your mind and started doing, I can only assume, hard hallucinogens. Before that all happened, what was your life?
What was my life?
Yeah. Before you were raking in the flat Earth bucks,
the flat Earth bucks.
Who was David Weiss?
I grew up on the East Coast. I'm in a fairly, I'm on the East Coast of Beverly Hills. I'm in Fairfield, Connecticut. I agree. I live in a bubble, no pun intended. I go on vacation to Hawaii or to the Caribbean, so I skip all the places in between. Yeah. I'm just a guy, that, went to college and got a job in corporate America. And then after that ran its course, I started my own business. That took off amazingly well. I had my podcast. And then I realized these two worlds can't live next to each other. And I took the one with less money that has more value. And that's the path of truth.
And I will say your podcast, you're talking about Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, right?
Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, yeah, that ran for 3 years. And then the flat Earth actually blew up deep inside the rabbit hole.
I think I
And-
discovered you guys' podcast like right as it was about to die, and I was sad because I enjoyed it.
it was a real podcast.
Yeah.
And then
It was good.
I started the Flat Earth podcast, and we don't get, this year has been crazy. We haven't gotten many episodes out, but there's plenty, for those of you new, start at the beginning and go through it. I have 2 challenges for people today. Take the Flat Earth podcast challenge, listen to the first 5 episodes, and you too will lose all your friends and family and respect because you'll become a flat earther.
Sure.
Or take the Flat Earth app challenge, which is every day there's a new featured video on the app. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks, 14 videos, short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekends. And then you'll know the Earth isn't a globe.
So, is flat Earthism a religion? Is this something that you have to have faith in?
Yeah. So absolutely not. Faith is the what a religion is science, scientism. The globe is a religion. People believe they live on a ball with 0 proof. There's 0 proof of the ball. We're going to get into that. And, I know you're thinking boats over the horizon, 6 in shadows, and days, seasons, sunsets. We can go over all of that. All of those actually prove that the Earth is flat. Heads exploding. I can see it. Just calm down, everybody. Get a cup of tea, a cup of hot chocolate, or beer, whatever it takes. Sit down, relax, and listen. Open your mind and listen. It's definitely not a religion. A religion is faith-based. This is science-based. Now, my co-host is a Bible believing, living Christian, and he comes from the biblical side, and he has all the biblical proofs. But I never lead with the biblical proofs. I lead with the science. Yeah. And then go, and by the way, it's also in the Bible, okay? Because you can argue the Bible all day. You can interpret it all day, but you can't interpret real science. And there's no science that shows that the Earth is a spinning ball. As a matter of fact, every experiment done over time by well-renowned, scientists to prove Earth's curvature or motion all failed and showed that it's flat and stationary.
But Dave, I'm going to blow your mind right now. Are you ready for it?
Go ahead.
I've been in a plane.
Oh, boy.
Mic drop, right? I've seen that curve, man.
Yeah. So we all think we have, but nobody really has. And just remember this. On a ball Earth or a flat Earth, we can only see so far before the sky merges with the ground, whether there's a curve there or it's flat. If you go to Vegas and go into one of those long hotels, go to one end of the hallway, the lights on the ceiling touch the floor on the far end as far as your perspective. So things merge into that vanishing point rather quickly. So
that's just because the hotel hallway is going around the horizon.
I wasn't one that had a curve to the hallway, and it's like that threw me off. But so my point is, when you're in an unobscured area over water and Kansas or whatever, the sky touches the ground relatively quickly, less than 50 miles, 30 miles, the clouds touch the ground as far as you can see, the way you see it. They're not really touching the ground. Mm-hmm. It's just perspective, because you can zoom in, open up that space and see farther. But your eyesight, let's say it's 20 miles, 50 miles, doesn't matter. It's when you look forward at 12 o'clock, you see the same distance at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You're seeing the same distance. And if you plot all those points, you're drawing a circle. So if you took a picture and you could actually measure, you're going to see a curve. Just like if I put a camera on my round table, I could see a curve of the edge of the table. It's not a sphere, it's a curve, okay? So we see in a circle, and our programming tells us it's a sphere. Okay. And by the way, the high priest of scientism, Neil deGrasse Tyson, says he keeps raising, we call moving the globe post. Sure. He says you can't see the curvature at 138,000 feet where Felix Baumgarten jumped. Mm-hmm. And he says that's you can't see the curvature that high. So anyone saying
that was a balloon jump, right?
Yeah, he did it. The Red Bull space jump.
Right. Yep.
He said that he went at 138,000 feet. He said he saw the curvature, okay? Mm-hmm. But he didn't. It was a fisheye lens. As a matter of fact, if I show you guys, of course, it's the one picture I cannot find. We'll get back to that. So go ahead.
Yeah, I actually a few years back we had this conversation quite a bit back then. I just enjoy, like, even if it's completely stupid, like I love the like the thought experiment of it. Like I love this theory, whether it's true or not, fine. But I really love digging into it. I love arguing it because most people don't have that much actually to hold it to substantiate their argument unless they've been to space, which I still have yet to talk to somebody who's been to space. But
Well, yeah, and the ones that have been to space are just liars, and I, and they're slowly, letting out clues and admitting, the nonsense.
Sure. But yeah, there was one. I think it was like the Vice thing where they put sent like a blunt into space or something like that in a box. It was just like some stupid video, and people are
Yeah,
like, "Oh yeah, that proves the curve." But I actually took those video clips, took a bunch of screenshots, put them together, and I was like, "See here, it's convex, concave. It changes, and you can see the curvature of the box itself. It's clearly a fisheye lens."
right. And then some
And people said I
students
was
did it.
stupid, and they called me a retard and left my
Yeah.
page and never came back. But
So here's Felix Baumgarten at 138,000 feet, and he said he saw the curve, and everyone's like, the globe trolls don't even use this one anymore because it's so stupid. We looked at all these features on the ground. This is
Mhm.
planet New Mexico. This is all New Mexico. Okay.
Right.
So that just shows you it's a fisheye lens. There's no argument. It's planet New Mexico. And the other thing is the Earth is turning at 1,000 miles per hour. He went up, not attached to the Earth, disconnected from the Earth. The Earth is spinning to the east, so he should have landed out in the ocean into the west because the Earth is spinning out from under him. But he
Mhm.
landed a couple hundred miles east of where he took off 3.5 hours earlier.
Mhm.
Okay, so he went up and he sped up and outran the spin of the Earth. Okay, I mean that's all you need right there. Game over. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Earth is flat, but we're going to go and just every single proof that I thought I had. And by the way, your listeners, I can hear you. Right after we go through 2 or 3 more of these, you're going to throw your hands up and go, why the hell would they lie? What's the point? Why would they lie? Why does the shape of the Earth matter? We're going to get to that later in the second hour.
Cool. Sounds good. At what point did you realize that you're autistic?
Years ago, man.
I'm just kidding.
Years
I am curious. Like, what is your stance on drugs and stuff like that? Like, are you into? Because the conspiracy community, there's half of them are the Christians that are scared of psychedelics and stuff like that. Then you got the other side that say it's whatever. It is what all religion is based off of. It's just opening the third eye and that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, we can take a left-hand turn here. I am a big believer in psilocybin as a medicine. I've done ayahuasca with a shaman 4 times. I believe in CBD and hemp products and THC when used as medicine, not just to get high, but and again to feel good. That's a form of medicine. Feeling good, it brings health. Feeling afraid and scared brings sickness and death.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all about things used in harmony with the way they should be used.
I just got to ask because first off, I completely agree, but I just have to ask because people are going to be wondering what exactly David is on right now, currently.
I am on non-caffeinated herbal tea with a scoop of organic honey from the farmer's market.
You're the most boring flat earther ever.
Actually, I am on a spoonful of tiramisu. It was delicious. Somebody gave us a piece of tiramisu, and I had it after my lunch.
Sure.
I'm not boring. I'm kind of fun, actually.
I'm just giving you shit.
You can give as much shit as you want. It's all right. I appreciate it.
So, when you first started getting into this theory, what was the some of the things that kind of broke the camel's back? Because you said that you were pushing against it to begin with, and were completely skeptical. So, what kind of got you over the edge?
So nobody just says, hey, I'm going to be a flat earther, because it comes with scorn. 6 years ago when we started this, it was, you mentioned flat earth, the ridicule, the scorn, the hatred, the nastiness, the violence almost was unbearable. But now you mentioned flat Earth, and people are like, yeah, I've heard about that. I got questions. So the awakening is happening. People, I don't know whether that we're just they're hearing about it enough. People are thinking, or consciousness is rising. I think that there's an energy shift, and people are starting to be able to think and see. We're not taught to think in school. We're taught to memorize and regurgitate. And if you're really good at it, you can become the teachers to teach the next generation. Yeah. Okay. So again, memorization and regurgitation is not knowledge. It's not learning. It's memorization and regurgitation of the controller's information. So your question was, what was your question? I went off track.
Oh, just like what were some of the early proofs and things that pushed over? Did you get into like Eric DeBay's 200 proofs?
Yeah, I watched Eric DeBay's stuff, and that was like, that's interesting. We can see too far. That's one of the number one proofs. We can see too far. Here's some video. If you look at this, these ships are not going over the curve. This is just zooming out, and they become too small to see. People think that things go over a curve, but they don't. Things do, depending on atmospheric conditions, disappear from the bottom up. And we can get into why that happens. It just has to do with angular size and atmospheric conditions. But you see that boat, it disappears. Your eye can't see it anymore, right? So people say it's gone. You zoom in, there it is again, okay? And then there's all sorts of miraging. See, this boat right here is beyond the mirage, but it's reflecting on it. You can see that I call it the I forget it's a doubling point or whatever. It doubles at some point. So here's a gigantic ship, and when we zoom out, this entire ship will disappear because you can't see things when they get too small. Now, if that was going away and getting smaller and smaller, people look, it's going over the horizon, it's almost gone. It's gone, but it's not gone. It's still there. You just can't see it. And that's how our eyes work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And to those listeners who listen to the audio version, you're going to be missing out because we switched to Zoom just so David could share all of his show and tell and all the receipts, which is good because you have to have it, and it's impossible to have this conversation without examples.
I'll try to be more descriptive in what we're looking at too. Sure. But the thing is, the religion of the ball is easy. You just believe it. And when a dumb guy in a bow tie, Bill Nye, the lion guy, tells you that boats go over the curve, you believe it. You're done. You can go smoke a joint. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't take any thought to believe. Belief is the enemy of knowing. Okay. But knowing takes time, effort. I've been researching flat Earth day and night while I sleep, while I pee, everything. I am always thinking about what is going on. So, good.
Now, just keep going with some of these proofs, because I think it's important to make sure people know it's not just this, a couple things. There's, like I said, Eric DeBay's 200 proofs was one of the early things that got me interested in digging into this thing. Yeah.
So there's on the app, there's no curvature playlists that we keep adding to, that we can see things that are way, way too far. What I'm showing you here is people say, what about the sunset over the ocean on a cloudless day? Okay. Right. So, the sun is a celestial object above the cloud deck, and that cloud deck merges with the horizon, and the sun just goes beyond the cloud deck and sets. But when there's no clouds, what people don't realize is the atmosphere is magnified by the moisture in it, and the air also becomes opaque over distance. So right now I'm showing you a candle representing the sun being pulled away on a flat table, and it sets below the table due to magnification. That magnification, that Ferrel lens there, represents the atmosphere. And that's how things set. Now, again, to fully understand how the sun sets on a flat Earth, you have to watch a whole bunch of videos, and they're all in the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app.
It used to be a lot easier to find those videos, but YouTube doesn't like these
that's
things
why
anymore.
I made the app, because YouTube, like, if you said, hey Dave, send me a video on how the sunsets on a flat Earth. The next video that YouTube will give you is a propaganda video. Send me a video on the moon landings, how that was all fake. Boom, propaganda follows it.
Yeah.
So what I did is I created this app, and the daily videos, the frequently asked questions, they were all followed by other videos. Hey, let me share the app because the app will give people a good foundation of what the flat Earth is. Okay.
Absolutely.
And the
Share
flat
it as
Earth
much as you want.
yeah, the flat Earth is not the Flat Earth Society. Okay, if you Google Flat Earth, you're going to end up at the Flat Earth Society.
Right.
You have to enable screen sharing. You have to allow me to
One
screen share or make me
yep. 1 second.
something. So Flat Earth is if you search Flat Earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society, and that's none of us believe anything that's on that website. It's all nonsense, and it's a gatekeeping site. So people go there, spend 5 minutes or 2 hours there, and you'll never look at Flat Earth again. It's like, oh, that's the dumbest shit ever. I'm not going to waste my time. So here we go. We live in the Antarctic basin. Okay.
Wait, where's the turtle?
What's that?
Where's the turtle? I don't see the turtle.
It's underneath the Earth. It's underneath the Earth.
Okay. You just can't
Okay.
see it from this angle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we live in the Antarctic basin. Okay. Antarctica is the shoreline that surrounds the world ocean. It's not at the bottom of a ball. Okay.
Mhm.
It's the shoreline. If you look at my background, it's the ice shoreline that surrounds our world oceans. And what's beyond it, excuse me, is a whole nother question, and we can get into that in a little bit. But if you look on here, the sun right now, we're going through December, and it's almost out to this outer yellow line. And this outer yellow line is called the Tropic of Capricorn. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yep.
And the sun will travel out there on December 21st. It'll be directly over it. And then over the next 6 months, it'll travel inwards all the way to the Tropic of Cancer. So when we go all the way up to June, it's over the Tropic of Cancer. And it's our inner northern summer because the sun is closer. And because it's closer, in the flat Earth model, the sun is small and close. It's higher in the sky and we're warmer. Just think of it like a heat lamp. Okay. So the sun goes around and around. I'm going to speed it up. The sun laps the moon. You're like, where's the moon? We're going into a new moon right now. But the sun laps the moon every 28 days. And as you can see, as the sun goes around on this perfect clock, the sun is the hour hand on the clock. The moon, it starts getting distance on the moon. The moon phases grow. And after 28 laps, it'll lap the moon again. So
I see your moon is materializing in front of our eyes. How does that work?
Well, because as the sun's farther away, I believe it's not the sun's light that is lighting up the moon. I believe it's the sun's electricity that is powering up the moon. But that's a whole nother question, and we'll get into that.
Sure.
So we just went past the full moon, and it's getting smaller. And those are the phases of the moon. But if I turn on the stars, all of the constellations, they circle around at almost the same speed as the sun, except they're going just a tiny bit faster than the sun. And they lap the sun not once every 28 days, but once a year. So the sun will slowly move backwards through each constellation. It's going to move, the constellations just slowly lap it. So that's why the sun is in each constellation for a month. All right. Yeah. So there you go. There's the sun and so the sun marks the hours, the moon marks the months, the stars mark the seasons and the years. If I turn on the world time, this shows us wherever the sun is, it's noon. So right now it's noon in California, right? It is 6 a.m. in Eastern Australia. It's 9 p.m. in Johannesburg, South Africa. This shows you how the time zones work. And I just showed you the seasons, everything between the two yellow lines, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, that's the tropics because the sun is always there. So it's always warm in between there. We live north of the Tropic of Cancer. I believe that's where you live. You're in the United States?
Yeah, I'm in Illinois.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why we have the weather that we have. Makes perfect sense on the flat Earth. Seasons make zero sense on the globe. If I hit the question mark, up come the questions. Where's the edge?
Nice.
Oops. If I hit where's the edge, oops, I just blew that. Let's go back. So if I hit, what about gravity, or, why the lie? That's a good one. If I hit why the lie, up comes a playlist of a whole bunch of videos that'll explain why the lie, lay out all the proofs. Again, all of the information is there. There's also other links. You can learn about the mud floods down here on the lower right.
Oh, you've got my guy Marty Leeds on there. That's all that matters.
Marty's the man. We got Crow 777 Radio on there. These are all more education on this page alone than any university could ever supply you.
Nice.
Okay. And then we have different languages for people that speak different languages. You have playlists in all these different languages. On it also, if you tap the weather in the upper right, it brings you to dark sky. So everyone needs a good weather app. And then on the bottom left, we have that's the featured video of the day. Every day there's a new video. Again, you click it, it brings you to that video. And then if you drop down the little menu, here are all the other videos that relate to that. And you could also, so here's the thing. I tell people, take the Flat Earth app challenge. Just get the stupid app. It's $2.99, one-time fee, and take the challenge. And what people say is, hey, I saw you on Daniel's show. I got your stupid app, and I didn't want to wait every day. So I hit the video archive button, which is right to the right of the featured video button. And I started going through all of the old videos. And again, it'll bring up the current month as it loads. So here's the current month. And if you hit the little hamburger at the top, you got all the other months, tons of videos. And they say, I haven't slept in 2 days. My partner thinks I'm crazy. They want to lock me in an asylum. Now what do I do with my life? And I say, welcome to Flat Earth. So again,
I've had the conversations. Like I said, I've defended this theory, even though I'm not 100% sold. But
so
to the people that are like watching right now, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, ask him this question, ask him that question. We're going to get to all your questions that are in there. So don't be like freaking out thinking that I'm just giving this guy like a complete pass and letting him just sell his really expensive $2.99 app on here. So
it's $299. It's not $2.99.
Right.
No, it's $2.99. And by the way, there's a pop-up. Now, there's no ads. There's a pop-up that shows up once every 24 hours. It says, would you like to subscribe for 99 cents? And I say, don't subscribe. You don't have to subscribe. You can exit out immediately. You don't have to watch an ad. You don't have to wait even a whole second. It pops up. You exit out. It doesn't show up again for 24 hours. Okay?
I gotta say,
and if you have a problem with that, I can...
Even all the other resources aside, just having the map there to show people makes the conversation 1,000 times easier than when I would have these conversations in the past. It's like, I don't even know how to explain this.
I made it for myself just so I could show people something. I wasn't even going to publish it. I just wanted a trial version on my phone. And I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. I think I'll publish it. And I literally haven't slept. I work with a guy in India. I haven't slept in 2 years because I'm talking to India every night. And it's literally, 13 hours difference in time. But people say, we're just going to hit circumnavigation while I have the app open, then I'll close it. People say, I've circumnavigated. I've gone from, California, and I went west. And now if I take my compass on the flat earth, north is in the center. So my compass is pointing towards the north. If I go 270 degrees, which is dead west, I have to keep turning. Otherwise, I'll be heading south. So 270 degrees brings me over to Indonesia, around to Africa, and it brings me back to New York. And back to where I could also circumnavigate to the east. 90 degrees brings me in a full circle all the way around. I think I circumnavigated. I can even go from, in a straight line. I'm going from, Mexico all the way north. I'm going straight. Now I passed north. Now I'm going south, and I'm still going straight, and I'm all the way over in Indonesia or Japan or wherever. And I went in a straight line. I went north and south. What nobody has ever done, by the way, none of that proves that the earth is flat. Right. But what nobody has ever done is gone south, like from Santiago south and popped up over in Australia, or south from Johannesburg and popped up over in New Zealand, underneath the ice cap, or even stayed down at that, 50 degrees south, and gone, around the short way to Australia, they haven't. They no one's ever done it. So you have to ask yourself, why is that?
Now, for your normie listener here, it's easy to say nobody has done it, and I can't prove that they have done it. But my argument to that would be, yes, they have, and maybe you just missed it. Like all the arguments that people can use, like, can be completely unsubstantiated. Just like you say, there's, you know, nobody has done it. You can say, you know, maybe you just don't know. Or if you found somebody who had done it, how would that change your perspective on this?
Well, that would really be a problem for the flat Earth. We've been looking, and plenty of people have faked it.
Sure.
I'm gonna stall and come up with a photo. So some people say they have. So the world record, and they got the Guinness World Record, was this trip right here. So they went from. I believe they started here on the East Coast, and they went down to these islands, and they went over to I forget what islands these are, Tahiti or whatever. Then they went over to Johannesburg. Then they went down to Antarctica. They turned around. They didn't cross Antarctica. They turned around, came back, went all the way up around, to the West Coast, up around the north, and came back to where they started, and they called that circumnavigation. This is what it looks like on a flat Earth map, okay? Mm-hmm. That's not circumnavigation. If they wanted to do circumnavigation, they would have gone from south, they would have gone from the north all the way down to Antarctica and then popped up over here. Nobody's done it. This is what the world record is calling circumnavigation. This path right here.
Right.
Okay? Right, yeah. Colin O'Brady, we have videos on the app on the Antarctica. What about Antarctica question? Claims that he circumnavigated Antarctica, but that he crossed Antarctica, and he didn't. According to his own notes, we show the path. He literally went from here to here and to here and came. It's like they're proving the flat Earth with all of their stuff. And he also said that he used GPS and compasses. There's no GPS in Antarctica, and the compasses don't work in Antarctica. It's nonsense.
We did have a commenter who said he tried to stop us and said electricity powering up the moon. What?
Okay, all right. So that's great. So again, let me start off by saying, I usually start by saying, anything above how high we can get or anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is off limits. We can argue all day about it, but we can't prove it because we can't get there. So we have to believe. Okay, so on if you're away from the city and there's a full moon, clear night, you can read by it, right? You can open up a book and read, correct? All right. It casts shadows on the ground. It's bright enough to cast a shadow on the ground. So here's the full moon right here, okay? And a single source light lighting up a sphere would have a hot spot, and then it would get dimmer towards the sides. But for some reason, the moon is fully lit edge to edge, almost like there's a light inside of it. I'm not saying there's a light inside of it. Sure. So we have this belief over here that this is what the moon is, a dusty, dirty ball, rock gray ball where
really shiny dirt.
Yeah. So that light right there is coming back so bright to Earth, 238,000 miles away, that you can read by it in the middle of the woods. I'm going to say bullshit. All right. And then the other thing is you have to understand what the inverse square law of light is. And that is you have a light of X brightness. Every time you half that distance, it gets 4 times brighter. Okay. And then you half that distance, it gets 4 times brighter. So if let's say the moon was 1 lumen, this is more than 1 lumen. It's probably like 20 lumens, but we'll call it 1 lumen. And you go halfway to the moon, it's 4 lumens. You go halfway again, it's 16 lumens. You go halfway again, it's 64 lumens. Okay. This is science. And by the time they get 100 miles away, I think the number is something like 10 million or it's even more. It's like as bright as the friggin' sun. Does this look as bright as the friggin' sun to you? Absolutely not. It's that light is not that light.
Yeah.
Right. So what is the sun and the moon? I don't friggin' know. Okay. When there's a new moon, it's gone. Nobody can see it for over the shortest time it's ever been spotted. Once the moon goes new, no high flying aircraft, nobody on the fake space station, nobody anywhere with any special lens. Nothing has ever seen the moon in less than 40 hours. I think it's like 42 hours or something. Okay, that's almost 2 full days. Where did the moon go? All right. Where did the moon go? I don't know. We have some theories. We have some experiments that we can do that could speculate on what it is. But again, we can't get there. The moon is the biggest mystery on the globe and on the flat earth. So if you think this dirty, dusty rock can affect women's reproductive cycles and people's attitudes, or perhaps this electric-magnetic system that we have is affecting our electrical magnetic bodies. We're connected to this electrical earth.
Now, I got to ask, and I don't know if this makes any more sense on a flat earth than it does on a globe, and I will never claim to be what some would call like a smart man or anything, but during the day when I in Illinois can see the sun and the moon both in the morning sky, how does that work on a globe or a flat earth? Like, what is China seeing at that point?
It kind of works on both. So here's a picture of the sun, the moon, and the moon taken from the UK and from Australia at the exact same time. Okay. So they're seeing them at the exact same time. One's in the night sky, one's in the day sky. This goes to my theory that the moon and the sun are above the firmament, aka the dome, and are being projected. Their light is being projected into our reality. I could show you that in a minute. And that's why when there's a new moon, no light coming off the moon, that there's nothing to project in, and therefore nobody can see it. And again, what about eclipses on the app? Hit that button, then you'll start to see. Then you'll be like, I start to get it now. But what I was saying is, the sun is like a Tesla coil, and you bring a Tesla coil near a bulb and it fluoresces, and depending on what gas is in that bulb, it fluoresces a different color. Well, the majority of the sky, the high sky, is nitrogen. Nitrogen fluoresces blue. So we have our Tesla coil way over there, and it's lighting up the sky. If you're on the west side of your house and the sun just appears on the horizon on the east side, it's morning, dawn, the sun comes up, you can read the newspaper on the back side of your house, and the house is completely 100% blocking the sun. Why? How is that possible? Because the daylight, the electrified sky, is giving you daylight. Sunlight and daylight are two different things. All right. So, and as you can see behind me, there's day next to night without a barrier.
Right. It
ends because that's the throw of the sun's energy. It can only go so far.
It's all fascinating and everything. So you do subscribe to the dome theory. I know a lot of people. That's kind of like a back and forth.
Wait, say you cut out for a second. Subscribe to what?
The dome existence, like the firmament itself.
So again, the second law of thermodynamics says you can't have high pressure next to low pressure without a physical barrier. Now, I don't believe space is a dome, is a vacuum. I believe space is some sort of liquid. Again, people short circuiting. So again, if space was this vacuum, it makes no sense on how we could have this high pressure Earth next to a space vacuum. Why doesn't it just suck all the air away? Because I can take a straw and suck water or air up and away from the Earth with the weak vacuum of my mouth and lungs. But the infinite vacuum of space can't pull the air off. And, people say, well, gravity is holding this magical air to the Earth. That's baloney. I can, again, pull air up and away with effortlessly. So gravity is a made up, nonsensical thing that there is no proof of.
Now that's going to trigger some folks, just the idea that gravity, their precious gravity. Like, how are we not floating away, Dave?
Okay, well, I will explain that. Neil deGrasse Tyson says that he admits gravity is a theory. They don't know what it is. Here's how stupid gravity is. Let's say I owe you $100, and we agree I owe you $100. Okay, I'm going to give you $4, and the rest is going to be dark dollars, 96 dark dollars. Okay, you can't see them. There's no proof they exist, but I'm telling you they exist. We're even. Okay,
Done.
that's what they have. They have dark matter. They don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck it is, but their
Right.
equations still don't make sense when they fudge it with 94% dark dollars. Okay, it's complete and total utter nonsense. Hey, how would you describe Jupiter? We're taught it's a big, giant, gaseous planet with storms, and the storms circle in different directions. Some of the rings go clockwise, some go counterclockwise. We've all seen their bullshit videos, right? Here's 2 official pictures from NASA, right? 2 years apart, and this one here, they said, "Look at these amazing auroras we found. We were able to photograph." Right? You're laughing. You're laughing for those people listening because. So a 2-year-old that doesn't even know how to use Photoshop can do a better job than this, right? But if you lay these 2 pictures over each other, every single little ripple is the same on the other one. It's exactly the
It just
same.
got a hat. That's all.
2 years apart.
Yep.
2 years apart. That's all you need, but that's not all we have. We have endless bullshit. The on the app today, NASA faking space again. They had a soccer ball up there and they were kicking it around. First, you wouldn't kick a soccer ball around in there; it would break shit. But one of their heads disappeared because it went beyond the green screen. It's unbelievable how many times they screw up. It's just left and right. I mean, here NASA does all of their training in the National Buoyancy Lab. Okay. Why would you train in a fucking swimming pool where everything's trying to get in, where space everything's trying to get out? Okay. Right. And look, this is all done in a friggin' pool, and their pool has green screens in it. Why do you need green screens? To make it look more real? Right. Okay. It's everything. Wait, remember a couple years ago, NASA had the space station got a little hole in it, micrometeorite, and they fixed it with what? Do you remember?
No.
Duct tape and gum. Okay.
Are you serious?
That's what they fixed it with. I think it was duct tape and gum or duct tape and putty. Well, check this out. Chris Hadfield, the other lying, astronaut, he tweeted this picture, and this is the picture, but it happens to be the same picture that this band used on their album, years before. Same picture, same hole. That's the hole in the space station.
Holy shit.
Okay, they're lying to us. They're lying to us on a scale that most people can't believe. Do you know
So
that
they're not even making their own lie picture. They're using stock imagery now. They're using stock footage.
No, we could argue all day. They do it on purpose to see if we're paying attention. They're mocking us, or they're just that fucking stupid. Okay, we can argue all day. I don't know the answer. Could be a combination of all of it. Did you know that the Disney character Pluto was made the same year that they discovered the planet Pluto? And this picture right here is just Google recent photo of Pluto. I think it was the Cassini spacecraft traveling at, I believe it was 66,000 miles an hour or some ridiculous speed, satanic number. Took this picture, it was a well-lit picture that has an outline of friggin' the dog on it, of Pluto, okay? Think about this, though. Pluto is a little farther from the sun than we are. It's so far that the sun looks like a friggin' star if you were on Pluto. How is a star light this friggin' thing up so good that a spacecraft with a 4-megapixel camera can take a picture going 60,000 miles an hour?
Maybe they used a flash. I don't know.
I'm
not a photographer.
I didn't think of that. I did not think of that.
Debunked. So is everybody like SpaceX and these like smaller companies, Chinese companies, everybody's in on this? Everybody's working together, right?
Did you watch the Chinese landing on the moon to grab dust the other day?
No.
Dude, it is worse than the PlayStation 1. It's the worst. It's the worst garbage ever. And people just believe it. And I think the people that believe it, they don't watch it, because if they watch it, their brains would short circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Here, check this out. NASA admits they have no photos of space, but they have 2 photos, 2012 and 2002, I think. So this is the 2012 image of Earth, okay? This is the image of Earth. So we see the United States here. Well, I drew a circle on this map, right, showing you what we're seeing. Yeah. We have to believe that all of this land is on the other side of that ball. Yep. You're laughing.
Because it's ridiculous. Again, I can't say that I'm 100% sold. I can't say why I'm not 100% sold.
Yeah, I can tell you why you're not 100% sold.
I would love for somebody to convince me that it's not true, but
because
it's
here's
just
why.
ridiculous.
Because nobody likes having their ball taken away. All right? We are indoctrinated before we could talk. Sesame Street with the Yip Yaps, and Werner von Braun, the head of NASA, was on Disney. He's on Disney, but he's also on Sesame Street. It's ball indoctrination. You go to school, what's in the front of your kindergarten class? A globe. A globe. Right? Wait, you have a globe right there? Look at the bottom of the globe. Read the sticker. What does it say?
Walmart.com.
Read it.
Made in India.
Is that all it says?
It says globes are not meant for educational purposes, but only decorative purposes.
There you go. Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right. Why is that? Why would they have that on every single globe? How did I know that sticker was on your globe?
You know what's funny? I got that globe as a gag gift a couple years back at Christmas. My brother-in-law got it for me because he knew that I enjoyed digging into the flat earth stuff, and he got it for me to be a dick. Didn't even occur to me that it says, hey, this isn't true on the bottom of it.
Yeah. They always tell us the truth. They always tell us what they're doing.
Yeah.
So what about the moon? The moon is a sphere, so the earth has to be a sphere. So
Of course.
here, that's not the first one. It's showing you that it's a cup. What's the next one? Is the next one a sphere?
Yes.
Is that one's a sphere right there?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, it looks like a sphere, but it's not. It's flat.
Oh, shit.
Okay. All right. Is that one a sphere?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Nope. It's a bowl. Okay.
Damn
Is
you.
that one a sphere?
Yes.
Yes. You got it.
I got it. Nailed it.
So again, do you have lights in your studio?
Yeah.
Okay. On the ceiling? Is there any lights in the ceiling?
Not at the moment, no.
All right. Well, pretend you have lights in the ceiling. All right. Look up at those lights and tell me what shape the floor is.
The floor is...
No. Look at the lights. Based on the shape of the lights, tell me what shape the floor is. The point is, stop looking in the sky where optics are all screwed up and telling, and saying what the floor is. Our optics have outgrown their lives. This is a star zoomed in with a super zoom camera. This is Capella, I think, or Arcturus. This is Arcturus. And every star has its own cymatic pattern, okay? This is not what NASA shows us, right? Here's Arcturus, right? This one's amazing. When you can zoom in on this on a clear night, this is within the Earth system. All of the lights that we see in the sky are within the Earth system, okay?
But does that, does that really negate anything? Because they say it's just a big ball of gas, and I don't know what a big ball of gas looks like outside of the sun.
Does that look like a big ball of gas? Would I be able to zoom in on that? Let's talk about what here. I don't have really an image, but we have the giant. This isn't to scale. So the sun is one of those big yoga balls, one of those big yoga gym balls, okay?
Sure.
And the earth is a BB next to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're told.
Okay.
You with me?
Yep.
So you're on the top. So imagine you're standing on the earth. You're out in the middle of the ocean on an island. You can see 360 degrees around, and the sun is only the sun, the actual size that they tell us, is a mile over your head. It's just we moved it really close to Earth for demonstration purposes. It's going to fill the whole sky, horizon to horizon. Will you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to move it. How far away is the sun? Far. See, I didn't know the answer either when I was defending the globe.
I used to have notes. I used to know the answers to
so
these
it's
questions.
90. I know more about the globe than the people that defend it.
Yeah.
The sun is 93 million miles away. So it's close. It's filling the sky, horizon to horizon. I move it 93 million miles away. It's now the size of a pencil eraser, or not a pencil eraser, a dime held at arm's length. Agreed?
Okay.
Just like we see it in the sky. Okay. So it reduced from the entire sky to the size of a dime. If I made it twice as far, how much smaller would it get? Would you be able to see it? Before you answer that, let's make it easier. 8 times as far. Could you see it?
Helpful.
Very good. A logical thinking mind would know, well, it was the entire sky and it went to the size of a dime. If I went 8 times farther, there's no way I can see it. The closest star that they tell us is 4.5 light years away. Okay. If the sun was 8 times as far, where we just both agreed that you couldn't see it, that's a light hour.
Okay.
The closest star is 4.5 light years. This is where your brain just turns into sauce, can't
Mhm.
calculate those numbers because those numbers don't even exist.
Yep.
Okay? We're told
I have questioned, like, how come there's one star that's the only one that's really close and we can see it really well? It lights up everything, and then we've got all, like, they're all in the vastness of everything. They're so
Wait.
far away from each other that's uncalculatable, but they're all the same size for some reason.
what about Polaris that doesn't move, right? Polaris, the North Star, never moves, right? So check this out. The Earth, besides spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, it's orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Interesting number, okay? It's chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour, okay?
Mm-hmm.
While it's orbiting and chasing, that entire system's moving sideways at 1 million or 2 million miles an hour, a ridiculous number, over 1 million miles an hour. But the North Star somehow never moves off of the axis of rotation of the Earth. This is, I'm telling you stuff like, hey, if I was pitching a movie to you, hey, check this out, I have this movie, the Earth is spinning and it's over. You'd be like, get the fuck out of here. No one's going to believe this shit. Okay?
And in all of that motion, we're sitting here calmly at peace.
Wait. In all of that motion, you stole my tagline, dude.
Sorry.
In all of that motion, we have this.
Right.
Okay? We have this. All right? We have these perfectly calm lakes, zero movement. And by the way, people say, well, it's because we're already moving at a consistent speed. If you're going 100 miles an hour in a car, you could drink your water. You could even, do whatever you want. Take a friggin' turn, okay? Everything's going to slosh away. If you're on Earth, forget all of the other motions. We're going to take the slowest motion, the spinning of the Earth.
Yeah.
You're dropping at 5 miles a minute, okay? 5 miles a minute. That's curvature. Turning is acceleration,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So, and we have this.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And don't forget, again, we're told that the stars that we see some of them are way farther than 4.5 light years. The closest one is 4.5 light years. Nonsense. You couldn't see something a light hour away, no matter how big it was. Make it a light day. That's a light week. It's insanity, these numbers. They make no sense. Check this out. 25.5 trillion miles is 4.5 light years. Trillion miles. Trillion doesn't calculate in your brain. How long is 1 trillion seconds? Take a guess. If you guess it within a year, I'll give you $100.
50 years.
31,000 years.
I was close.
Yeah, you were close. Sorry, very close. So just think again. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. And we're seeing something 25 trillion miles away. Okay? Come on, people. This deception is the most important deception to the elite ever. It's how they control us.
Mm-hmm. Let's touch on some of the why before we start getting into some of the listener questions now that we're in second hour here.
Okay, I didn't know we transitioned. I didn't even know. It's like going from one season to another.
That's right. So why? Like, who is responsible for all this? Like, is it just this handful of flat earthers, the normies, and then thousands and thousands of people that are in the know that are all just keeping hush hush about this, or what's going on?
Is that me or you ringing?
I don't hear anything.
What
kind of a ring?
I'm
a phone ring?
I'm hearing a Skype ringing.
Oh, it's not me.
Oh, it's me. There you go. I didn't turn Skype off on my phone. So where are they going? What was the question? The question was,
Ooh, and why?
Oh, are the normies? Yeah, I got it. So there's different groups of people. There's people that I call normal globers that have never thought about it. They were taught it, guy in a bow tie and a white jacket, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and their teachers told them, therefore it must be true. Never questioned it, never, just believe, boats over curvature and sticks and shadows. Those are normies. They haven't looked into it. And they're so programmed that when you mention it to them, they tune out, they unsubscribe, and they give you the finger, and they go, I'm not listening to you. You're an idiot. I'm not going to look. I was that guy.
Yeah.
And those people will refuse to look. Then there's the other people that are still hanging with us that are like, holy crap, this guy is making some friggin' points. I can't believe it's true. Why would they lie? How would they get away with it? So then you have your scientists and your educators that don't know. They're literally brainwashed by memorization and regurgitation in their indoctrination school. Okay, so they don't know. Some of them figure it out, like I did. I mean, I'm smart, but I'm not super smart. You know, I mean, you're as smart as you want to be. Okay, and again, I don't want to be a flat earther. I don't want to feel special. I don't want any of this. I just want to know the truth. I want to know where I am. We're going to get into that in a second. And then there are the elite that know. Okay. Did Obama and John Kerry know? Okay. They sure mentioned flat earth a lot in their speeches, but they were driving people to the flat earth society. Okay. They were mocking it. Okay. Because they saw this awakening coming. So I think they know. I think Hillary Clinton knows. Do most of the people in Congress and the Senate know? Probably not. I think they're just, that's a whole nother category of soulless, people that have just lost their way. How many people in the elite know? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think it's as many as you think. What about everyone at NASA? I think that there's less people at NASA than you realize. And most of them, the majority of them, are compartmentalized. They don't know. They built, the hinge for the door and the meter for the thing. And somebody, I forget who said it, the people that are in the control room, when you're watching the NASA launches, you have all the people in the control room cheering, when they have a success. They admitted that they do so many simulations that they can't tell the difference from the simulation to the real flight. Can you imagine that?
Convenient.
They can't. You know why they can't tell the difference? Come on.
I'm going to assume you're going to say that there is no difference.
There is no difference because it's all just data being fed to them, and they just believe it. So again, they do these simulations. They can't even fathom a lie that big, and that's where they here they are. Yeah, high-fiving. This guy knows. He knows the earth is flat. But probably 90% of the people in that room don't know. Okay?
So when they do I've seen the videos where they have like a class call in and they'll talk to the astronauts and they'll show them show them water experiments and things like that which I know it's pretty dangerous to do that in zero gravity, I would imagine, but
yes,
doing stuff like that. How do you think that they pull that off if it is fake?
So they some of the stuff, most of the stuff that they're doing with the classes, they're doing it in green screens hanging from wires. Some of the experiments that they do it on a zero-G plane, where the experiments are edited over multiple zero-G flights. You know what zero-G plane is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
big drop.
And you can see it. Like this one girl had this experiment a couple years ago where she had this track and this ball that went around the inside of the track, and they did it, but they said we couldn't do it live, so we have a recording. Well, they couldn't do it live.
Right.
Why couldn't they do it live? They're in space. Just put it on and do it. And it's nonsense. And by the way, when they have all the kids come up and they're asking the questions of these astronauts, it's the same thing. It's like, what are you doing in space? What experiments are you doing? Oh, we're doing science. They grew lettuce. They play with water balls. They're just, what's it like to eat? How do you use the bathroom? Well, the bathroom proves the space station doesn't work. But I'm going to point out something. I'm going to bring up a picture, and I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, okay? This picture right here is of the Challenger astronauts, okay? And it turns out, this is the first time a TV was dragged into every classroom. So every kid in America and most of the world saw this live because their teacher, Krista McCauley, or maybe that's her over there, I can't tell, was going into space, all right? Okay. So I'm trying to get out of the way here. And it's the one that blew up and it traumatized the whole world. And the thing is, 6 out of the 7 of them have identical twins that go by the same name, okay? That most of them work for universities, right? So, okay, NASA likes working with people that have twins because they can measure their bone density. You know, hey, you went to space, you didn't, and we can get data. Okay, we'll give them that. Bullshit, but I'm going to give them that. When you have a twin, they're closer than a regular brother and sister. Would you agree?
Sure.
Maybe a little bit, okay? None of the twins showed up at any of the funerals.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's all I got to say about that. NASA is evil. Okay. Their logo is a friggin' snake tongue. All right.
Yep. Now, most of these things I've seen, I've done the dig, but
Let me ask you a question.
what?
Go ahead. You first. Go ahead.
I just kind of just want to let you go because, you know, or like let you keep going because I know a lot of this stuff and I've dug into all this stuff and the guy
that has a flat Earth map behind him and a flat Earth shirt on says, "I'm not a flat earther." How psyched would you be if you were the first man on the moon and you got to play golf and drive a dune buggy? Would you be psyched when you got back? How psyched
I
would
would
you
come
be?
back and become an alcoholic like Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah. Would you be this psyched at your press conference?
I know. It's insanity, and I would say that I am Earth shape agnostic. That's
you know what?
I would
Listen,
put my
you
stake
can
on that.
pussyfoot all you want. Deep down inside, we know. Come on, dude. Two guys, a golf cart, and golf clubs were in this paper mache, duct tape, and curtain rod vehicle. Okay, and landed on the moon and took off without a problem.
Now, I have said definitively, and I still stand by, I do not believe man has gone to the moon. I will say that for sure.
All right, that's good. You know, it's funny. I became a flat earther before I realized the moon landing was fake. It's because I never looked into it.
Yeah, I dug into the flat Earth stuff before I dug into the moon landing stuff. It was very strange. And then I realized the mountain of evidence that there actually was for the moon landing. I'm like, well, I definitely believe that, but, you know.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 3-body problem. Okay. So NASA can make a simulation in a computer, say, all right, we've got a giant ball, we'll call it a sun, that has X amount of gravity because it's X size. And then we have a smaller ball, we'll call it the Earth, and it has X amount of gravity, and we're going to set it in an orbit, and it's got its gravity, and the model works beautifully. It just orbits and orbits and repeats, and it just goes. Then you add a third body in there. You know how many bodies in our solar system? I think there's like 60 or 80 with all the moons or whatever the number is. You add a third body in there, the entire model falls apart because one tugs on the other, and that's it. So we have to believe that check this out. This is what we have to believe in the helio-nonsensical model. We have to believe that nothing exploded, created everything, and it was all scattered through the universe. And then all of the dust, dirt, and rocks all came together into rocky planets, but all of the gas, all of the helium came together and formed even bigger balls that lit on fire, right? And it left a vacuum in between them, okay? It just left a vacuum in between them because of gravity, okay? And then the big burning ball grabbed onto the rock that was 93 million miles away. 93 million miles away. If you look at the scale model of the sun and moon, it's ridiculous. It's like putting an orange and then the BB is like a mile away. It's something ridiculous. Okay, and the sun is holding on to that and it's orbiting. What happens when the moon comes in between them? Wouldn't the sun rip the moon away into its own orbit, or at least tug it a little bit? Okay. What happens when all of these other planets in our friggin' solar system, okay, come together? The sky is a perfect clock. If you go out tonight and say, okay, I'm looking from this position here, and that star is at the corner of my house, and that one's there, and that one's there, and you make a little chart, next year on the same night, and in 10 years from the same night or 10 years ago, you go back out and you look, even though we're traveling billions of miles from where we were, those stars will be in the exact same position. They wouldn't be in the same position 2 nights in a row, okay? Nothing would. With this going on, with this spinning, orbiting, twirling, whirling, and rocketing. None of it would be, but they're in the exact same position. That proves that Everything we see in the sky is within the Earth system. The stars are fixed in their position. The wandering stars, which they changed to planets, those are a whole different thing. And just for the people that are saying the Greeks figured it out 2,000 years ago, Aristophanes with his sticks and shadows, okay, that's nonsense. Aristophanes, if he figured out the shape of the Earth, and then Neil says within 2%, that's amazing, he'd be pretty damn famous mathematician, okay? Well, nobody put him in any books until the 1980s. There's no mention of Aristophanes' stupid experiment that hasn't been repeated yet until the 1980s, where they ended up in textbooks, okay, in school textbooks, brainwashing, okay? Not that I believe, we have found evidence, lots of evidence, that everyone on Earth knew the Earth was flat all the way up into the 1920s and 1930s, okay? I interviewed a woman in January named Ruth, who was 102 years old, and I was talking to her about the World's Fairs, which is another rabbit hole. That's the wiping out of a previous civilization. And she remembered her 5th birthday party, and she was telling me about little Susie and her coconut cake and a present that she got, and she was remembering everything. And I said, hey, what did they teach you in elementary school about the Earth in science? And she goes, they taught me the Earth was flat. And I never mentioned flat Earth to her. Huh. And so I interviewed her on the spot. I have the video on my it's on the app. It's on my YouTube channel. And she tells the story of how they taught her the Earth was flat. We found another woman from Croatia who was taught it in the 1930s. Okay, we found numerous articles on microfilm of teachers that were being persecuted in the 1920s for teaching the heliocentric, satanic religion. Mm-hmm. Okay, so everything before the early 1900s is a lie. Everything, and you have no way to verify it unless you were there.
Damn. Okay. I think that we should jump into some questions. I'm sure you've addressed a lot of them already, but we can kind of go back and forth, throw in a question. You take your time as long as you need to answer it. But I like the crepuscular rays and all that stuff. Like no matter how much I ignore this theory, when I look out at the sun, I was actually driving with my kid about a week ago, and he was like, you can tell where the sun is by how the rays come together. And I was like,
wait, and why would why would he think that the sun rays are coming in parallel? He had to assume that they're coming in parallel. Have you ever seen parallel sun rays? This is what sun rays come in like. Right. So here's the problem with this. If you triangulate that sun is literally just above the clouds.
Right.
And I've been in an airplane. The sun's not just above the clouds. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it's a longer discussion, but because of the projected sun theory, which I believe, as you move, you know how you go down the road, the sun and the moon follow you? Well, if you go up, the sun and the moon go up too. You see it in a position relative to your own. And I can demonstrate that easily in a room. Like if I had a sheer blue sheet, we'll call that the sky. And on the far side of the sheet, I had a bright light. I could see a bright spot on that sheet. If you were 10 feet to my right, you would see that spot on another part of the sheet. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. So we see the spot and that's where the density of the sky where the light can manifest. So if you went up, it goes up also. We send balloons up to 120,000 feet. And when we're up that high, the sun isn't much higher. It's literally right there. This is 120,000 feet for those of you can see it. Does that sun look 93 million miles away? It's right there. Mm-hmm. It's right there. All right, go ahead. Questions?
Oh yeah, sorry.
And then we're gonna get into it. And then I'm gonna finish with why the lie. Go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, we've got a lot of questions. We won't be able to get to all of them. We're gonna start out with people in the Downers Club who support the show, but we will start with Mark Clare says, if the Earth is flat, is every astronaut in on it? And if you've already answered these, feel free to
no problem.
Say, check it out. But
yeah, there's only a small handful of astronauts that have, supposedly been into space, and they're all liars. Absolutely. Every single one of them is a liar, except Don Pettit. He might just be retarded and think he went to space.
He says also, are other planets real or made up to perpetuate the round Earth theory?
Made up to perpetuate the round Earth theory. As we showed you, the images of planets are fake, right? And so why are they faking images if they're real? Okay, they even fake images of Earth. Right? Look at the United States, twice the size over here than it is here. 2 official pictures, because NASA will never use the word photograph, because that would mean they're lying, because that is a picture. That's not a lie. And Robert Simmons painted this one in Photoshop. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, on the thing that we were just talking about, the crepuscular rays, and you said that it's not because it's right above the clouds. That's not why. It's like, I don't. Can you explain that a little bit further? Because if it's like an illusion, or if it's like the atmosphere is what's spreading it out, then wouldn't that be the same if it's really far away?
So I believe that the sun we see, for lack of a better word, is a reflection, okay, through the firmament. Again, as I said earlier, we're speculating things above our heads. I don't know. I don't friggin' know. But if I had a giant mirror and I had a sun on the other shining in that mirror, and we're standing apart, we're going to see the 2 different suns. You have a third person go up to the mirror and draw an X where I see the sun. I'm going to see the sun here, and you're going to see the sun over here. Okay, because we're standing in 2 different positions. And people say, well, you can feel the heat of the sun. This is where I came to this realization. I was in Vegas. I was out the pool, and the sun was 45 degrees. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon, and the sun is beating on the side of my face. It's really hot. And I just closed my eyes for a second, and the sun, I could feel the heat on my face. But the hotel, 100 yards that way, was a mirrored hotel, and the sun was reflecting off of one of the windows, and it was hitting the left side of my face. And when I closed my eyes, I said, I couldn't tell the difference in the heat. I knew that the sun was to my right, but the heat was the same. So the sun was able to reflect the heat off of that window, but somebody sitting on the other side of the pool would see the sun reflecting off of another window, and they're feeling the heat off of that. So does that mean that there's 2 suns? Right. Does that mean there's 3 suns? We all see the sun. Here. We all have a personal relationship with the sun. The sun walks on the water to our feet at sunset. Okay, this is a biblical analogy to many religions, but go ahead.
Yeah. Anthony Meyer asks, how does the ice wall work? Does water flow off it into space? Is Mars actually the size of a marble or something?
All right,
or is the moon a projection?
Let's hit that's 2 questions. Yeah. And how does so if you are on a lake in Kansas, let's say we had a big circular lake, a whole bunch of islands in it, and in the center of the lake we had a pole, a big magnetic, neodymium magnet pole. Okay, you get your compass out, it's going to point towards the center of the lake. You can circumnavigate that lake, go around all the islands. You can go east and west around it, and you're going to circle. If you went south, which is any direction away from the center, you're going to hit the edge of the lake in Kansas. My question is, can you or the water fall off the lake?
No.
Okay. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Okay. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. When you get to Antarctica, there's an ice wall like 200-300 feet high in some areas, if not the whole way around. I don't know. I haven't been there, but all the pictures I've seen, all the videos show an ice wall. Then there's a ice plateau that it goes on for several hundred miles, and then comes, and maybe even 1,000 miles. I don't know. Admiral Byrd, went far, and he said there's a land bigger than the United States that no human has ever stepped on, and then there's a mountain range that's supposedly higher than Everest. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. We live in the Antarctic basin. Oh, by the way, here's the sun going around, the projected sun inside this dome. Okay, and so what's holding up the real sun? Well, God's holding up the real sun, and if you watch, that's me and my iPhone. So I'm calling myself God. That's my little joke.
So,
but
interesting
that's the thing, optics, right? Interesting optics. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying, look, that can happen.
Sure.
And again, if you get the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and go into the what about eclipses? I filmed an eclipse and I showed something. And then I did an experiment showing how the sun and the moon could be outside of the firmament and create exactly what we see. I could even pull it up if you want in a little bit. We get through some questions. Go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. Now I am curious, like, at any point, do you think that there's that it's an unhealthy obsession to spend your entire life focused. Not that, like, let's assume that it is true and you're 100% correct. Do you think that there's any length that you have spent time on this that you could have been, spent better somewhere else?
What should I do? Should I go work for a corporation? Should I go flip burgers somewhere? What should I do? You know what? We had I live in a townhouse area, townhouse complex, and we had some stonemasons build an amazing wall. These guys were artists, okay? They loved what they do, right? Great. Good. That they're loving what they do. That's better than people that are working in corporations, people that are commuting into the city, people that are wasting their lives. I am in my home studio. I am having a fantastic conversation with you. Mm-hmm. We're talking about realizing that we live in this creation and expanding our soul, our consciousness, connecting with our soul's journey. What is wrong with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. Am I obsessed with it? I am fascinated with it. When I lose my fascination with it, maybe I'll stop talking about it. But let me tell you something. There's not a moment that goes by that I'm like, that's fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, Nathan Titus asks for your thoughts on aliens.
So, great question. Aliens. So the term alien and extraterrestrial, some people think it's the same thing. I take aliens away. Aliens, people say aliens are demons, aliens are whatever. Let's just take that away. I like the term extraterrestrial. The words have meaning. Extra terra. Terra is territory. Terra is land. There's more land beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. Okay. And the extra, the extraterrestrials could come from that land. Here's one map that this is the cosmic egg theory, where we live in the Antarctic basin inside the center, and this is our sun and the moon and the whole thing. But then beyond Antarctica, there's another sun and moon, and some speculate that sun is Mars and the moon is Venus, and there's more lands out there. And then beyond that, in this outer ring, there's Jupiter and Saturn, another sun and moon. Okay. And there's more lands from there. So do extraterrestrials travel, if they came from the closest star, 4.5 fucking light years, 25 trillion miles, which if they were going a mile a second, it would take them 500 million years, whatever the number is. Or are they coming across the Earth plane? Why are all of the largest telescopes on Earth, besides being owned by the Vatican, in the deep south, pointing across the land and not up at the sky? Why are they all pointing south, outwards, beyond Antarctica? Mm-hmm. Because that's the outer space. Extraterrestrials come from the outer space across the Earth plane.
Now, if you had a telescope, you would point it out. If you were on a ball and you point it out, it's eventually going to hit space as well.
It pointed on a ball, no matter where you point it, it's going into outer space. Just like if you were on an airplane, and the pilot forgot, if you're on a ball and the pilot forgot to where's my friggin' thing? I'm talking and I'm supposed to find this at the same time. If you're on an airplane on a ball, I know I have the picture. God, it would have been a beautiful transition if I had just been able to pull up the picture. Yeah. Oh, here it is. That's not it. That's not it. Where the frig did it go? Wow, I really blew that transition, huh? On a ball, a pilot would have to nose down a mile every 2 minutes. Otherwise, they would fly off into space. Okay? They don't. Airplanes, words have meaning, fly across the Earth plane.
Okay.
Make sense?
It does.
Where the frig did I had that picture? I literally just saw it a minute ago, and now I'm obsessed with finding it.
You can keep looking for it if you want. I'm going to go and ask the next one's from Nathan Sipes. And he and I, a lot of
Nathans.
He's actually a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, and he was one of the ones too. He gave me some good questions back in the day, and I was like, I don't have the answer. Maybe someday I'll have David Weiss on the show and we'll talk about it. But he said seismology, P waves, which travel through solids and liquids at a slower rate, and S waves, which travel through liquids at all, by using seismometers located around the world, we can get a high accuracy image of the structure of the inner Earth, namely molten liquid outer core. You can build a seismometer in your garage. They aren't complex or mysterious. How do you explain that?
Yeah. So one, you're trusting the people that are running these things all over the earth, that they're giving you actual reporting. I believe it was in the 1960s. Don't quote me on that. Somewhere back then, there was a earthquake and a tsunami that hit in Indonesia or something. And where the tsunami got to certain locations way before they should have, if the earth was flat, and way later than they should have if the earth was a ball, then the earth was a ball. So it makes no sense. So again, that stuff can actually prove the layout of the earth. But the problem is we're getting our information from the liars that are running it. They're the ones that tell us that they have a laser reflector on the moon. But meanwhile, they said they shoot 500 trillion photons at the moon, and then they capture one, and the machine goes ping, and then look, that proves that there's a laser on the moon. Okay, it's nonsense. Found my picture. So here is a plane flying, and it would have to nose down, but its gyro keeps it level, and it flies across the Earth plane.
But if the gravity pulls the gyro or affects the gyro, and
the definition of a gyro is it is independent of gravity, and that's how planes fly. And it holds its rigidity in space, no matter which way you go.
Yeah. Now, what about that Netflix documentary, Behind the Curve?
Yeah,
You guys were clearly all stupid, and Jaronism is a liar and can't do a test to save his life.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the comment is the best proof that Globers have is that a flat earther proved curvature and another flat earther proved prove the earth spin. So we'll address both of those very quickly.
Sure.
Jaron had a genius idea along a canalway where he had three boards, plywood boards with a hole cut out in them, and one and a mile apart, or a mile and a half apart, or whatever they are.
Sure.
And he figured if he could shine a laser through the first hole, through the second hole, and through the third hole, that would prove that the earth is flat. And it was all leveled based on the water, a certain height off of the water, because water lays level. And doing these experiments over distance is very, very difficult. There's so many things. And the one thing that happened was the laser melted the condenser. Lasers spread out over distance, but you don't notice that because perspective squeezes them together. Mm-hmm. So when you're shining a laser a mile, it spreads out to like 10 feet. So he has a condenser on the thing, and it melted. So the laser broke. Okay, not Jaron's fault, right? These things cost a lot of money. So they didn't know what they're going to do, and there was globe and flat Earth observers. So they then said, "Hey, try." They're radioing back and forth or using cell phones. Raise the light up, and he raised the light up. He said, trying to show the light, so they can't see it. Now raise it up. And he raised it up, and he could see it. And he goes, that's interesting, because, hey, that could mean that there's curvature, or it could mean that something else is blocking it. Like right now, what state are you in?
Illinois.
Can you see my house? I'm in Connecticut.
Checked.
I'm in Connecticut. If you can't see my house, does that mean that the earth is curved?
Yes.
No, it doesn't. It means that perspective, mountains, clouds, it means a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
So then they cut it right there. They cut it. And then they did it again, and they could see it, which would indicate there's no curve. Okay. Right. But everybody walked away saying there's too many variables. It's inconclusive. And everyone walked away saying nothing. It proved nothing. Even though it kind of proved that there's no curvature, but we weren't even going to go there because it wasn't clear enough. The movie is deceptive and did it on purpose. The next one was the ring laser gyro that Bob was talking about. He didn't even do the experiment. He was talking about it. Mm-hmm. And the ring laser gyro showed about a 15-degree shift. Okay. So does that mean the Earth is spinning? Well, it could, or it could mean that the ether is moving, right? So one way that they can do this is if you take that ring laser gyro and you have it on the ground and it's processing at 15 degrees per hour, you can bring it a mile or 2 miles up, and it still should rotate at the same amount. But we did that. I think they brought it up a mountain in Denver or somewhere, and it rotated at a different speed. That proves right there that it's not the Earth spinning, because the angle of precession would be the same no matter how high you were if we lived on a spinning ball. Again, the movie was purposely deceptive to hide the truth.
Well, and even if I thought that this was that you had to be mentally unstable to even consider this theory, watching that documentary, it's very apparent that it has nothing to do with actually the theory itself. Like, they don't even really address the theory. It's just, this is what these people
They
think,
made a
and
movie.
this is how they act.
They tried to make a romantic movie with him, Mark and Patricia. They tried to tell a story. You know what? I went and saw the movie. I kind of liked it. I was like, all right, it's cool, you know. But they was deceptive at the very end. Yeah. And we confronted the producer that did it, and he was supposed to give us all of the footage afterwards, and they didn't. They refused because Netflix signed a deal with them, paid them a shit ton of money, and said, but you can't release any of the other footage, because they knew what we would do with it. We would expose the movie for being nonsensical.
Yeah, I don't know. In the last hour and a half, we've covered 1,000 times more compelling arguments for the theory than will be in that documentary. So
absolutely. The movie, if you want to watch a fun movie, it's a fun movie to watch.
Sure.
But it's a piece of shit. Which one of these rockets is real?
Sorry, I was looking at questions. Which one of these rockets is real?
It's going to show it again. Watch carefully. So you got 2 rockets landing on rafts in the water.
The one on the left looks pretty clean, I'd say.
Yeah. So if you look at that raft out there, the one on the left, it's blowing like 20 or 30 knots out there. There's 5 or 6 foot waves, or 5 or 10 foot waves. You wouldn't be able to stand on that raft without holding onto something. And this thing's falling out of the sky, 40 tons. And that little flame right there is going to land it on a friggin' bullseye, and it's going to stand up. I mean, that thing is like, it's like 100 or 200 feet tall. It's ridiculous. It might not be that tall, but a person can walk under the little legs at the bottom. So this is a movie from 1957, or a Russian movie. They're showing the exact same thing. This is just predictive programming.
So you're saying the SpaceX one is the same as the other, and it's
I'm saying
just
they're both bullshit. They're both complete bullshit, and we were pre-programmed to see that.
All right. Let's see. Angle of Polaris from horizon based on latitude north of the equator. Similarly with the stars around the south celestial pole. I'm going to assume you have any idea what that means, because I don't.
I do.
Okay.
So you theorize on a ball that if you're at the North Pole, Polaris is over your head, and because you're walking around a ball, that's why Polaris goes down and down. And that way, when you get beyond the 90-degree mark, the equator, you shouldn't be able to see Polaris because it's below the land. Well, there's some observatories, I believe in Brazil, or 30 degrees south of the equator, that have seen Polaris multiple times. That would be like seeing through Mount Everest, seeing lights on the other side of Mount Everest. Okay. It's the reason Polaris goes down is because it's a light in the sky. So imagine this: we're in a room, 10-foot high ceilings, and there's recessed lighting in the room, random recessed lighting in different shapes. And now we expand that room to 10 miles wide, and you walk 3 miles away from me. Okay. And I say, look up. You're going to see completely different lights than I see. Right. That's why the South sees different lights than we see in the North. Right. I'm going to say, to my right, I see one, that's like a quarter mile away, and I'm going to say, hey, that's the North Star. Can you see it? And the answer is no. It's merged with the horizon. You can't see it because it has merged beyond the vanishing point. Period. That's why the Earth is flat, and stars drop down just like all the lights in the sky do, like street lights do.
Okay. Let's get through some more questions, because we've got tons and tons, and we're not going to get to most of them.
More questions. I'll keep my answers shorter.
Sure. Let's see. Some of these aren't questions. One second. Somebody says, "Wow, I want one of those globe just to have a sticker saying it is for decoration for
Any
decoration
globe.
purposes."
Go to Home Goods, wherever they sell globes. They all
Right.
say it.
Yeah, I had no idea that it was there. I've had this globe for like 5 years, and I
Yeah.
didn't even know.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing?
Yep. Somebody says, and I'm not screening these or anything, so if they're stupid, whatever. If you believe in space, you would believe in aliens. If you believe in aliens, you would believe in the globe theory of Earth spinning around in space. Okay, so this person's agreeing with you, obviously.
So, but again, I don't want to get rid of the secret space program. I call it the secret propulsion program. Extraterrestrials, I believe that they are here, they visit, they probably speak English. Okay. I have no proof that you're not an extraterrestrial because we're all humans here on Earth. I did a talk called The Outward Flow of Civilizations. And it's where I believe that over these epochs of time, each civilization moves outwards. Okay. So the Mayans and all of these civilizations that were here before that disappeared, they moved outwards with their sun and moon as their sun and moon moved outwards.
Mm-hmm.
So one day we'll move outwards. But imagine if all of the north froze over and never defrosted. We'd all head south. Okay. And then that would be the new Antarctica would be North America and Europe and everything. And then at the center, maybe a new sun is born. Sun is born under a star. Interesting. Go ahead.
You've got something for everything, don't you? I love
You know
it.
what?
It's
That's
great.
the problem. That's the problem.
How dare you have
dare
answers to
you.
all these questions? You must be some sort of stupid person.
Yeah.
Andrew Sitchling says, how do you know that none of the twins went? That's talking about the funerals and the space shuttle.
Because we did a ton of research trying to find them. I think some people even interviewed them asking if they went. And I again, I don't remember because that was such a long time ago. But photographs back then, they didn't go. But that's a good question. That's a good question because maybe some of them did, and there's just no proof of it. But again, it's bullshit. None of them. You know, if you go on the app on the NASA Fakery, there's videos about the Challenger. And there's interviews. There's a law professor that's one of that we believe is that we know is one of them. And you hear her talk. You see the dimple on her face. You hear the twang in her voice. Every single thing. It's the exact same woman. They play the speeches side by side. There's no way you could even fake that. So go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Let me see. I don't know. I'm getting all my screens mixed up here. Let's just go with. Liz Botkin says, if the Earth is flat, where is all the magma coming from and what causes earthquakes?
Great question. So, again, anything above our heads, anything beyond Antarctica is off limits, and anything below 8 miles is off the record. So now we know that, every textbook has that cross section of Earth, shows all the different layers with the molten metal magnetic core, which is impossible, by the way. Mm-hmm. But the deepest hole ever dug is just short of 8 miles. It's in Russia. It's a great borehole or something like that. And they were digging and digging and digging, and they were using their ground penetrating radar to see what they're going to be digging into. And they were wrong every step of the way. Oh, there's no more water. Then they hit water. Oh, there's no more rocks. Then they hit rocks and whatever. And then they got to just short of 8 miles, and they hit an impenetrable barrier. For years, they tried to drill through it. They tried to blow it up. They tried everything. They could not get through that 8 miles, but somehow they can tell what's that's like an apple. You're drilling through the skin of the apple, and you almost get through the skin, and you can't get any farther, but you know what's in the core. It's all pseudoscience. People know what's in the center of the Earth because of a fucking meme, right? A meme. It's a meme with beautiful orange and yellow colors in it. It's all bullshit. So what is the magma system? I don't know, but here's one that I don't want to blow people's heads off, but cone-shaped volcanoes with lava coming out of the top don't exist. Okay? There's another fucking rabbit hole. But lava tubes are different. Yeah. Lava tubes are they go all around the Earth. They're prevalent in Hawaii. Lava tubes are underneath the Earth's surface. I don't know. Again, maybe do they come from below that barrier? I don't know. Maybe there's where they come up.
So you're saying that no volcano eruption has actually been documented?
There's been explosions, Mount St. Helens. That's a whole nother question on what that really was. There is lava, but there's no lava coming out of tops of volcanoes. Go and try to find it. You might find a couple of photos, but you will not find any real video. They'll show you a smoking cone-shaped volcano, and then they'll show you a close-up of lava somewhere else. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Again, that if you want to learn into that, go look up Joey Rocha. Okay, he's in Hawaii. He's been to volcanoes. He has tons of information on that. But again, it's beyond where I am able to go.
Gotcha. I think this next one is from a flat earther. They say, I think they're a flat earther that disagrees with you on something. They say, ask him why he still presents out of focus lights as, quote, real stars.
So there's a big controversy on these stars, on what it is. Shooting something out of focus a little bit can give you some information. Okay. These things, this one is clearly out of focus a little bit, but what the hell is it we're seeing? Okay.
Yeah.
What is it? There's some sort of pulsing energy there. If you look at the Arcturus one, that's pretty damn clear if you ask me. Right. Yeah. So again, these things are above our heads. They're not just burning balls of gas that are trillions and trillions of miles away.
So is this person proposing that you're being deceptive by showing video of stars, or
there's controversy on what the fuck we're seeing here. I don't know what we're seeing, but we're not seeing a giant burning ball of gas. Sure. Okay. These things are local, and they like, why is it every time we look at this star, it looks just like this? Mm-hmm. Okay. Why does it always look like this? And again, we're zoomed way in here. Like, how do you focus perfectly on something like this? And what the hell is that?
Don't know.
Again, it's interesting stuff. And, there's some sharpness to that one, man. That looking pretty friggin' sharp to me.
Now, Chase Oliver asks, if Elon Musk offered to fly you up in a rocket to prove or disprove your theory, would you do it?
That is a straw man argument, and it'll never happen because it doesn't exist. But of course, Elon Musk is a fucking moron. If you're he's the CEO of Tesla Automobiles. He's the CEO of a giant solar company. He's the CEO of the largest tunneling company. He's the CEO that took over fucking NASA. He's the CEO of wasn't he PayPal? There's no human that can do what this guy supposedly can do. And listen to him talk. His famous quote when he launched his stupid car into space, which is nonsense, was, the quote?
It almost doesn't even look real. That's how you know it's real, right? Something like that.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. We'd have much better CGI. That's the most intelligent thing he's ever said. Okay. Elon Musk is a puppet.
It's almost like
puppets that control him.
It's almost like it was his first time watching the video, and he's like, we could do better than that, right? Why did we do that?
Yeah. Wait, let me ask you a question. Pretty cool that they sent a car into space, right? So let's imagine this is real, right? There's Tesla showrooms all over the world, okay? How come there's not a poster of that in every Tesla showroom? How come it's not on the cover of Time Magazine, National Geographic, Popular Science? It wasn't in any magazines, and there's not a photo of it in any dealership. Are you kidding me? It would be the cover of your instruction manual.
That's
okay.
True.
It would be everywhere, right? It's nowhere because it's nonsense.
So Elon Musk is just in on it, and he's not really a private company.
I think Elon Musk is on the lines of Don Pettit. He's absolutely retarded.
Okay. So he's just a puppet put into his position. Okay.
He's a puppet playing a role. Just like I believe Werner von Braun is not a Russian Nazi that was brought over to run NASA. He's an actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going through a lot of these questions. A lot of them we've already addressed. So I don't want to spend too much time.
So here's the thing. As I said before, the globe has a huge advantage over flat Earth. You can just believe the globe. You can believe it and go along with everyone else, and no one will attack you except maybe a few angry flat Earthers. But what do we matter? We're just crazy people.
Yeah.
Take the Flat Earth app challenge. Okay. Watch the video every day and learn something new. And don't watch this and go, holy shit, the Earth is flat. Go, holy shit, I have some studying to do. And the best way, and who's got extra time? We're all, a lot of people have a lot of time this year because of what's going on, but
Sure.
to find an extra hour during a day, every day, that's difficult. Well, find several hours. I put a short video up during the week, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, right? And then longer ones on the weekend. Just watch it. Just watch one video a day, and I guarantee you're going to hit that friggin' archive button. And if you do, bring water and food, okay, and a blanket, because you're going to be up for a long time.
Yep. Well, cool. Let's see if we can work in one or two more here, and then we'll let you go. But is NASA governmental money laundering or something more nefarious? Is there more to NASA than just this big money laundering scheme if the Earth is flat?
Yeah, so NASA gets $65 million a day. Well, that's the budget, okay? I don't believe it. I don't believe they need $65 million a day. They're just a Hollywood studio, okay? There's nothing more. I mean, I can do half the shit they do with my shitty little green screen, okay? It's NASA is just a way where they take money from us. It's part of the slave system. They are here to hide the true Earth. We never got into why the friggin' lie, okay? Because before all of this, I was basically best way to describe me is I'm an atheist. There's no God, evolution, and we're here to do the best that you can, be as good as you can be, and that's it. But when I realized, holy shit, the flat Earth is real. Well, the flat Earth is intelligently designed. It's like, you can look at a rock and you can look at a MacBook Pro, okay? One of them was intelligently designed. Actually, horrible example because that rock was probably something completely different.
Sure.
And that's another rabbit hole. But the Earth is intelligently designed. Therefore, there's a creator. So instead of believing that I am on a rock, on a speck spinning through an infinite vacuum where I could crash into a meteor, or asteroids, global warming, running out of food and fuel and everything, lost in space, spinning out of control in all those different directions at once, I am at the center of creation. So when you realize the Earth is flat, you realize that you're at the center of creation. You respect this creation and you find that there is a creator and that you are a powerful being having a soul's journey, that you have amazing power. People say flat Earth is a psyop. The psyop is believing that you're powerless and that you can't do anything against the elite. We are the many. They are the few. Okay. Our thoughts create our reality, and they don't want you to know that. Your thoughts create everything that you have, including your poverty level, your success level, your podcast, your car, everything. Your thoughts create your reality. People go, well, I want $1 million. Basically, when you say that, you're saying, I don't have $1 million and I'm never going to have $1 million. That's what you're saying in your head. Right. So your true thoughts, your true intentions create the world around you. They don't want you knowing that. Every flat earther that I know, I went to a conference just a month or in October, that there was 400 of us there, none of us wearing masks, none of us falling for the bullshit that's going on in this world. None of us have gotten sick. And all of us are happy and we're having great lives and we're all good people, right? So if everyone woke up to the flat earth tomorrow morning, okay, if everyone took my app and gifted it to everybody else and everyone had it, right, and everyone realized it, the elite would be done. Governments would be finished. The monetary system would be over. The world would be freed from this fucking tyranny that we have allowed to happen. Because if you can believe that you're on that spinning speck lost in space, you can believe that's a little virus that can go 5.9 feet from you, from a healthy person to another healthy person, and kill them without any symptoms.
Getting into other territory there, but
yeah.
I love it. I love all of it. And I'll say that that's the thing that I love most about this theory is in the thought process and everything of if you can humble yourself enough to say maybe and look at this for everything that Dave has said for the last 2 hours, just this idea that we are not so random, we are not so meaningless and purposeless and pale blue dot speck on a speck on a speck floating around in the vastness of everything. if like just having that kind of mental process, I think is healthy. Like realizing that you have value, that you have intrinsic value that was given to
You
you,
have
or
power.
that
You
were
have
created with.
great power. They cannot take anything from you unless you agree. Everyone's freaking out that they're doing this or taking that. No, you're agreeing to it. They tell us everything that they're doing, and then by us not saying no is saying yes. Okay, we live in this amazing system where we have God-given free will, and they can't take it from us. They can trick us into giving it away willingly, but once you see through that, you take your power back, and life is amazing. So am I obsessed with this? I am obsessed with the power that I've taken back. I'm obsessed with what a great life I'm having.
Right.
2020, best year ever. Okay. That's crazy, right? And I mean, world is gone, people's lives are being destroyed, but you have to see what's going on. The one good thing about what's going on is people are waking up. People are waking up by what's going on. Big events through history, I don't even mention them, have woken up massive people. A big one near me in New York woke me up, okay? And now look at me.
Yeah. And I would say we do have a lot of, like I said at the beginning, we have a lot of libertarian listeners who got into this show because we talk about politics as well. If you are a libertarian, like, I know that this is stupid. I know that this is retarded, but so is your entire political ideology. Like, your political ideology is, I don't trust the system. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the man. All Dave is asking is, hey, let's take that a few steps further. What if they lied about more than the things that you already believe that they're constantly lying about nonstop?
They're lying about so much, and all of the information is there for anyone willing to see. The problem is the programming is so strong in so many that they're unwilling to look. Wow, unwilling to look. My favorite shows to go on are the ones that go, hey, by the way, we think flat earth is stupid and we're going to embarrass you. I'm like, can we do it tonight? You know, let's not wait, because the problem is I hate it when those people, they start preparing for the show and then they go, oh, homo. They start researching and they're
my
like,
schedule got full all of a sudden.
shit, there's a problem, and they cancel. So when anyone hates it, I'm like, I'll knock somebody out of the schedule so I can fit you in first.
Sure. Now,
Right?
Dave, would you be willing to come back on if I can find somebody who can come up with a strong argument that they think that they can,
Yeah,
go up to?
I will, but here's the problem. There's
I'll vet them first.
There's three categories of people. The one, there's innocent people that have no idea what the flat earth is, and they think that they think they have a good argument. Happy to talk to them.
Sure.
Then there's the globe trolls, which are probably paid or incentivized in some way to just put up their ridiculous arguments, and that's pointless other than educating other people on how stupid they are.
Sure.
I don't engage in those. There's plenty of other shows that do that. And then there's the professionals, like an astronomer or whatever, physicist, that literally, if they start researching, they'll cancel on you. They won't come. They'll be like, there's a problem and I'll lose my job, or there's really no, but you can try, but
Sure.
it's not an easy task.
Sure.
And I'm
If
just not
anybody's-
into the debates, because basically we're at the point right now. There's people that aren't going to wake up. Fine, live on
Sure.
your cartoon ball. I mean, I there's nothing I can do for you.
I'll put the call out there, and people can send me an email at dan@tsidpod.com. If you know one of these
Right.
really smart sciencey people, if you know somebody who's like a professor or something, send them our way.
Let me show you right here. This is my drone on a super clear day. I filmed the sun. It came down, and then it sat right at this horizon here for 10 minutes. Okay, this is super sped up. It just sat there and it stopped going down. And then watch what happens. It gets smaller and smaller, but it's not about the size. It's not going down below the horizon, and it just fades away. Super clear day.
Now, how does that make sense on a flat Earth, though?
This is on a flat Earth. It's not going over a horizon. My friends down at the beach saw the sun set below the horizon 10 minutes earlier. Okay, that's all just due to perspective and atmospheric density. But I'm up high enough, super clear day. This horizon right here is not land. This is atmosphere density. Okay, and the sun's light can't push through, and it just disappears, and it literally sits there and it just goes around. So it's called the sun fade out. I filmed it 7 different times. It's on the app. It's on my YouTube channel, DITRH, the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Check out my podcast, The Flat Earth Podcast, SoundCloud, iTunes, any podcast player will have it. Start at the beginning, 5 episodes, you're toast, you're a flat earther. So don't watch it, don't listen to it unless you're ready for ridicule and torture.
Yeah, for those of you who are sick of me talking about flat earth on this show, just know there's a show called The Flat Earth Podcast. Even though it's a little uncreative, there's way more than we're going to be able to address in this.
Easy to remember.
Yeah. But there's tons of stuff out there. If you guys want to dig into it, again, reach out to me if you have like thoughts or whatever. Can't guarantee anything. But Dave, is there anything else that you want to plug? Any other place that people can find your stuff you got going on?
That's it. The app is the way I support myself. $2.99. Again, there's a 99-cent subscription. If you want it, you don't have to do it. You can exit out. No waiting, no commercials, no problem. A lot of people sign up. You can do it for $11 for the year. Don't even have to do it. Just get the app, and I'm super happy. And I'm more happy that you're gonna see the light. And for those of you that have the app, most people that are flat earthers do have it. Gift it to your family and friends, okay? For Christmas. It's the cheapest gift. And what's better when you're a flat earther than making a family or friend a flat earther at the same time? That way you have someone you can talk to.
Yeah. I still don't have any family or friends that are buying it. So
well, I've lost some family, I've lost some friends, but I've gained a whole new family of friends in this amazing flat earth community. So you can just point your camera right there if you're watching this on a computer, and the app will come right up on your phone. It's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Longest name ever, but there's a method behind the madness.
Awesome. Yeah, I love
Android
it.
And Apple.
I love it. I was digging into it this morning, like I said, before we got on here. It's really cool. I can't wait to do some more digging, especially in a time when YouTube doesn't let you, actually find things anymore.
That's what it's all about. I had a big server update today where if you downloaded it recently or updated it, I'm not sure if the iOS one is ready to download yet, but I can now change all sorts of information on it away from YouTube, because I was only able to put YouTube on it before, but now I could put any other videos I want on there. So app gets better and better every day. I haven't slept in 2.5 years since I created it because I have to talk to India every day, and that's at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Sure. Well, Dave, it's been awesome. I love having you on. I look forward to doing it again in the future. I'm going to have to do some more digging myself. It's been a while, and I'm going to come up with a strong argument, whether it's somebody else's or my own. I'm going to find the straw that will get me that $1,000, and I'm going to have you back on, man.
Or 10,000, either way. So
it's all made up anyway.
You spend $3 and take the challenge and come up with a proof, and I'll give you $1,000. Okay?
Sounds good.
$1,000. Fun.
No, I love it. I think it's awesome, and I love talking to you, man. You're welcome here whenever you want, and I look forward to having you again in the future.
All right, man. Reach out. Thanks for having me, and peace, everybody. Look, there's truth out there. You just have to be willing to see it. You can lead. What's the term? You can lead a man to flat water, but you can't make him think. How's that? There's a better one. Nathan Thompson has this great quote, and I have to remember it, because I'm going to steal it.
Good on. I like it. Well, I'm going to kick out of this live stream, but to all you guys, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemsdown, and we'll talk at you next time. Bye. Cool. We are not live anymore. But
so you can lead a man to flat water, but you can't make him think critically about the shape of the earth. That's a good one, right?
That is really good, actually.
Damn. That would have been a good closer.
Damn it. Well, we're still recording. Maybe I'll release it anyway.
All right. That's perfect. Do that.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out and help us change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemsdown for bonus episodes of the show every single week. Until next time, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.
This has been a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.